Hello, hello, hello. If you're watching this, you're viewing our meeting for day 2 of week 8, which is when we talked about HTML, CSS, and a little bit about JavaScript. Let's get right to it. Uh, Again, our focus is on what makes up the internet pages we see day to day, and a little bit about file formats. This is a wrap up for our internet unit, and next week we are moving on to foundations of programming and studying JavaScript and all that good stuff. There is an assignment 020801, which is due Friday by midnight, and your journal 2 is due by Sunday. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we did. So this is a quick warm-up. What is the second domain of images.google.me.net? The tricky part here is oftentimes people get a little confused. You need to count from the right-hand side. This is your top domain. Also, this is your first domain, .net. This is your second domain, .me. The third one would be Google. And the fourth and last one is images. There's 4 in total. If we had www out here, that would be a fifth domain. If it just says HTTP out here, that is not a domain. That is a specification of what protocol is going to be used to interpret the URL that you're putting in. All right, so without further ado, the 3 main ideas we covered today are what makes up a web page. So you have HTML, CSS, and JavaScript often present within the same file. There are 3 different languages with 3 different purposes, but they are read by your browser at the same time, and they all work together to create the web page you see. HTML determines the content of the web page. So what do you actually have on there? Is there a picture? Is there a link? Is there a video? Where is everything going? That's all HTML, your structural and content related information. CSS is what makes it look pretty. It makes nice shadows, color gradients, tables that look professional. All of that is CSS, or presentational stuff. And JavaScript is something we're going to get into a lot more starting next week, which determines the behavior of your website. So do you put in some information into it and then it spits out an answer like a calculator? That's JavaScript. Is there a button you can press? That's probably got some JavaScript behind it. Any kind of interaction is going to be this category here. In order to get a little bit more familiar with HTML, I'm asking you to learn a little bit all on your own. There are many, many places online you can use in order to do that. This one in particular is fun because this is a student in WJ put this together, and it's very professional looking, very, very nice. It has all kinds of places you can go to teach yourself some HTML, and I highly recommend this website. But in general, what I'm looking for you to do is, as a developer, you will need at some point to have the ability to teach yourself. It's just not possible that everything I teach you is the only thing you'll need to know if you're going to be a technical field person. So let's go ahead and teach ourselves and learn a little bit about how to learn, if you will. There are many, many places you can go. One of the places that I recommend is linked within your assignment itself. So let's look at it right now. I'm going to ask you to go to an editor. You can use this one right here that I link, or any other HTML editor that you like. I want you to make a web page that has at least one picture, a short description of yourself, like a biography, at least one link to another website, a color other than white as your background, and at least one tooltip. Major respect for anyone who uses a CSS, but you are not required to. Can do most of these things with just HTML, although some of them are much more easily achieved with some CSS as well. The editor looks like this. Anything you type over here will display over here as the web page. Notice that these tags identify various parts of it, and then when you actually hit run, you'll just see what the page looks like on this side. Again, this is not hard stuff. This is something you should be able to teach yourself, and it should be a fun and rewarding process where you can see everything you learn kind of come together right in front of you. So I don't want to spend this time explaining it to you. I want you to explain it to yourself. If you have any questions, of course I'm here to help. Please send me an email, and if you're stuck on something here, I am happy to assist. But in the meantime, I expect you to be able to do this on your own and paste your code for your web page right here once you are done. The next thing I'd like to investigate briefly is the differences in file sizes. So you guys will need to follow one of these two links, doesn't matter which one you go with, and give me a general idea of what neighborhood or what ballpark are we looking at when we talk about each of these. Is this a single file? Hundreds of files? The entirety of the United States? What is the approximate ballpark of information we're talking about when we talk about a gigabyte or a terabyte or a petabyte? All of these are interesting to note. And the next thing is, how do these relate to the file sizes you would see on your machine in all likelihood? And what kind of compression is at play? So I'd like you to investigate this. You can research this on the internet wherever you like. Google any of these and you'll get the right answer right away. So please be resourceful. And last but not least, there's 3 questions. You can go to this website and it has the answers. So just try these on your own and then you can double check. Am I right? By going to that website. That pretty much wraps it up for our last day of talking about the internet. Next week, again, we're talking about programming. Woo! If you have any questions, please send me an email. I hope you guys are doing well. Have a good one.